Good afternoon, I'm Malcolm Jordan and this is your midday news fix for Friday the 14th of March. The Prime Minister's laying out the red carpet for potential investors at the Infrastructure Investment Summit in Auckland. Delegates are hearing from ministers and opposition finance spokesperson Barbara Edmonds as the government looks to boost overseas investment in infrastructure. Christopher Luxon says the focus is now about moving deals forward.
I don't want the end of the day to be the end of our relationship. For us, this summit is really just the first step. It's an introduction and a chance to actually build relationships that I hope we can continue for many years to come.
And Infrastructure and Transport Minister Chris Bishop says the government's ready to put stakes in the ground for a second Auckland harbour crossing. He says work will commence in the coming days to determine whether a bridge or tunnel would be more suitable, with a decision being made by the middle of next year. And Bishop's told the summit the government's exploring tolls for all its upcoming major roading projects. He says all the future roads of national significance are being assessed for tolling, including the Hawke's Bay Expressway and the Belfast to Pegasus motorway. And more than 100 entities managing about $6 trillion in capital are taking part in the summit. Queensland Investment Corporation infrastructure partner Patrick Mulholland says they're looking at opportunities in health, energy and transport.
Transportation, we do have toll road investment in Australia but not in New Zealand, so that's definitely a space we'd look at.
To other news, Russian President Vladimir Putin's meeting with US officials in Moscow to discuss a potential 30-day ceasefire with Ukraine. He suggested he'll only agree to a deal if it leads to enduring peace and addresses the root causes of the crisis, comments Ukraine is calling manipulative. The BBC's James Landale says Donald Trump now has to figure out his response.
Russia and Vladimir Putin are basically playing for a much longer-term solution to this. Mr. Putin says all of these issues need to be looked at in a very painstaking way.
An employment expert says businesses shouldn't be concerned about a new law making it a crime for employers to steal workers' wages. Workers can now go to the police instead of the employment court to report their employer if they're not being paid wages they're owed. The Labour members' bill passed its final reading on Wednesday, with only ACT and National opposed. Massey's School of Management's Zoe Port says most businesses should have nothing to fear.
A bit of scaremongering about this being the big bad wolf for business, but really I think it's about sending a clear message to a few unscrupulous employers.
ACT is putting pressure on Auckland University to scrap its compulsory first-year course covering the Treaty of Waitangi and Māori tikanga. Leader David Seymour told Mike Hosking students within his Epsom electorate are upset.
I just say this is not only not of interest to us, but more importantly, it's a perversion of academic freedom.
The university says the course offers core knowledge and skills to transition students into tertiary education and set them up for success. To sport, Liam Lawson is getting his first taste of Formula One as a full-time Red Bull driver, with practice for the season-opening Australian Grand Prix in Melbourne this afternoon. A mercurial even par round of 72 from golfer Ryan Fox has him 6 strokes off the lead. It's after the opening round of the Players' Championship. I'm Malcolm Jordan. That's your latest news fix. We'll be back with the next update at 5 p.m. from the Newstalk ZB newsroom.